started to pray. Now, I just simply said, God, I am in big trouble right now, and I need your help. God, I am certain that I'm going to die tonight. And at that moment, when I was praying in my heart and cleaning the back of that Humvee up, I started to think about something I'd been reading in the Bible just a few days before this. I've been reading the story in Matthew about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now, if you don't know that story, real quickly what happened is the Bible says the night before Jesus Christ was going to the cross, he knew exactly what he was going to go through. He understood the suffering, he understood the pain, he understood the shame that he was about to endure. And that night, Jesus went with his disciples and said, I need to be alone to pray. He went into the garden by himself, and as I was standing at the back of that Humvee, I started to think about that prayer that Jesus prayed in the garden. And I remember he prayed, Father, if there is any way possible, let this cup pass from me. At the back of that Humvee, I was thinking, God, if there is any way possible, let this pass from me. I don't want to go back out into those city streets tonight. And then I remember the words that Jesus spoke next, like he was whispering them right into my ears. He said, not my will, but your will be done. And folks, the Bible says that Jesus Christ, the perfect, sinless Son of God, God in the flesh, got up off of his knees. He walked into the hands of the enemy, and he willingly, freely gave his life up so that your sin and my sin could be dealt with once and for all. 2,000 years ago on the cross. God once and for all dealt with that fear. For the rest of the night, I had no worries about what was going to happen to me because I realized my life was in God's hands, could be loaded onto those vehicles and driven back to safety. Now, folks, what I saw the next morning changed my life forever. In fact, I would still be a sergeant in the Ranger Regiment today if it wasn't for what I saw the morning after the firefight. When I got back in the next morning, it wasn't really the blood and the bullet holes that had an impact on me. I'd seen that stuff before. But when I got back in the next morning, there were men, grown men, some of the toughest warriors on planet Earth, who were walking up to me with tears in their eyes saying, Jeff, I got to talk to you. They said, what happened to my best friend who just died last night? Jeff, what happens to me if I get on a helicopter or a Humvee tomorrow and I don't make it home? And almost all of them were saying, Jeff, there was something different about you last night than there was about me, and I want to know what it was. And for the next 24 hours, I had guys lined up to ask me about Jesus Christ because they could see the difference that he makes.